Alrighty, let's get on Donut and make some money. Bro, what? No way my base got griefed. So, today, my very extremely real base got raided. So today, I'm going to show you how to hide your base so good that it will never get raided on the DonutSMP. Let's get into it. Step 1 is to pick a different region. DonutSMP has 6 different regions, and some have more players than others. So for example, if you build your base in NA East, which has 1.7 thousand players, your base has a higher chance to get raided because there's more players. But if you build your base in Oceanus, which only has 300 players, has a less chance to get raided. The best region is Oceanus, but if you get a lot of ping there, you might want to think about going to a different region. So I'm going to go to NA East for today's example. Once you've picked your region, you want to find a nice spot to dig down. The best biomes to dig down is in mesas and ice spikes. The reason you build in these biomes is because they're hard to find, which means people will have a less chance to get there. And mesas have lots of chests in them, so it's hard to find your base with pie chart. Once you find one of these two biomes, you want to make sure that you have a silk touch pickaxe. The reason you use a silk touch pickaxe is because when you mine stone, if you mine it with a silk touch, you'll get the stone block, but if you mine it without silk touch, you just get cobblestone. Once you have a silk touch pick and a good spot to mine down, you can start mining down, replacing every single block that you mine with the exact same block that was there before. You want to mine down until you hit a bedrock layer. If you hit a cave, keep mining, but make sure that you fill up the area. If you hit any gravel, mine to the side and place back the piece of gravel and keep mining down. As you can see, I hit a big cave, which is very good. If you do run into a massive deep slate cave like this, you want to keep running until you find an enclosed area. For example, down this tunnel, go down to the end of the tunnel and keep mining down. Once you hit bedrock, go back up around 5 blocks. This will give you room to dig down without having to hit bedrock. Once you're at the right Y level, you want to make sure you're at a Y level around 56 to 57. Then mine out a little area for you to sit at. Once you have a little area, you want to check what kind of base you're making. If you're making a base with farms, then you don't make sure that you're not near any caves, because if you dig up, then you might hit the cave. If you're building a stash, then just don't mine out too high, because the higher your base is, the easier it is to find. And if you're just building a spawner base, then only leave like a 1 block gap between the bedrock and you. Once you've decided what kind of base you're building, then mine out the appropriate amount of area that you need. So for this example, I'm going to be building a spawner base. So for a spawner base, I need to go super close to bedrock. And now that we're back at bedrock, we'll cover up our hole. So this is where I'm going to have my spawners. If I get an E-chest and get my spawners out, place them right here, and then I'll just be sitting here. But for example, if you want a farm base, you're going to have to dig out a lot further. Now Now, once that you have your base, there's this thing called pie chart. If you don't know what that is, if you press Shift and F3 at the same time, you get this pie chart on the bottom of your screen. And if you go to tick, level, and block entities, you can see the block entities that are near you. I'll pop up a bunch of different block entities up on the screen, so make sure that you don't have these in your base. So for example, the ender chest. So if I break the ender chest and reset the pie chart, it won't be there. So it's the same with spawners. So make sure when you're offline, you take the spawners and put it in your e-chest, so that they don't get stolen or found on Pyre. Another thing is with bedrock and ores, is if you like TPing streamers to your base to show them what you've built, make sure that you don't have any ores or bedrock visible in your base, because people can do very complicated math that I'm too dumb to understand how to do to figure out the exact coordinates of your base. So make sure that you don't have ores or bedrock visible from inside your base. That is how you make your base unraidable on DonutSMP. Make sure to subscribe so I can get media rank, because that's my dream rank in DonutSMP, and have a good rest of your day.